back to In My Opinion Nation. Each week we break down an episode of the hit 90s sitcom Blossom. I am your host, Mallory, joined by my co-hosts, Eric.
Totally ready.
And Jen.
Hey.
We just got done watching Joey Lawrence's hit music video, so we're a little energized from that.
I'm a little bit clamped.
Yeah. All right. So this week we are breaking down season 1, episode 1, Blossom Blossoms. It aired in January 3rd, 1991. It was written by Don Rio and Rachel Rosette Schaefer and directed by Zane Busby. So this episode, Blossom gets her period and deals with becoming a woman while she has an absent mother. Mm-hmm. So a little trivia about this episode. It's the first episode where we have the real dad, who is Nick Russo, played by Ted Wass. Mm-hmm. Ted Wass originally turned down the role of Nick Russo because he wanted to become a director. He'd done a lot of acting and he wanted to move into directing. And when he explained to them that that's why he was turning it down, the creative team laughed and said that if he took the role, he would be allowed to direct several episodes. So he did.
That's smart.
This is actually his last acting role before he full transitioned into being a director.
Nice.
Does anyone else have any trivia for this before we dive into the breakdown?
This pilot aired 5 months. Oh, the original pilot aired 5 months before this episode came out.
Yeah, so they aired the pilot that we talked about in our last episode. They aired that in July of 1990. And then they retooled some things and released this on January 3rd. So they actually did do a second pilot, which does air. It's later in the season, and we'll talk a little bit more about that being the second pilot when we get to it. So yeah. So we're in scene 1. Blossom is in the pharmacy and she needs to buy tampons. She does this super cool move where she walks casually by the tampons and just bats it into her cart.
Have done that.
Yeah, because she's trying to be all nonchalant about it.
Everybody's first tampon purchase is that.
Not mine, to be fair.
You just went confidently in.
I did.
Like, look.
It wasn't for me, so it's like, okay, whatever.
Well, what I found interesting about this scene was 2 things. First of all, she has a whole shopping cart for 1 box of tampons. And number 2, I don't know about you, Jen, but I started with pads. Tampons are scary. Like, I don't know any girl who immediately got her first period and went straight to tampons.
Yep.
Nope, I started with pads too. I think I don't know if that's supposed to prove how much she doesn't know about what she's doing.
I'm not sure about that. I'm also know that in a lot of media, when they talk about feminine hygiene products, they specifically mention tampons. Pads aren't talked about a lot unless it's a pad commercial, but they're not talked about as
that's true
a popular product, even though they really are.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when you're just learning how to deal with it. I guess tampon is a funnier word. Yeah.
And I don't know if we're getting into TMI here, but tampons, it takes a few times to figure out how to use it. There's a whole thing. It's not just a pad where you just stick it on your underwear and go. No. There's a whole process.
No.
I'm sure there is.
I feel like there's nothing we can say that isn't said in this show. So it's totally fine. But you're absolutely right.
I'm trying to think of commercials back then, and what I remember were the pads with wings. That's what I remember a lot from the commercials back in the early
I think
90s.
that was a relatively new thing.
Yeah, so off the top of my head, some feminine hygiene product commercial trivia. Oh my god, I forget her name. She plays Monica Geller. Courtney Cox.
Oh yeah.
She was the first person to say period in a commercial for feminine hygiene products. I don't remember if it was pads or tampons, but it came out late 80s, early 90s, and she was the first person to say the word period in a commercial.
Wow.
Oh. Yeah.
From what I know about these commercials, those tampons and pads hold a lot of blue liquid.
A lot of blue liquid. Yeah.
No, that's science. That's what happens. That comes out of the body.
Yeah, the blue liquid.
Yeah.
Interestingly, a big TikTok trend that's going on right now is men discovering feminine hygiene products, taking pads out of the package and figuring out how they work, and putting tampons in water and seeing how much they actually absorb.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And it's kind of weird, but I think it's also good that men are starting to actively take a role in understanding what we deal with every month.
I respect that.
Yeah.
I don't know how many conversations I've had with different female friends of mine about Veek, those cups.
Oh, the Diva Cups.
yeah.
There's
The
a
Diva
whole
Cups?
bunch of different ones. Yeah.
So many conversations over the past couple of years, and I don't know why it's always me, but it's always
Diva Cups are interesting.
yeah.
Okay, I might edit this out, so who knows? I got an IUD a couple of years ago, and they told me that I could use a Diva Cup with the IUD, but I had to be careful because when you're taking it out, you have to make sure you break the suction, or I could pull the IUD out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I just don't use them.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, because if you just pull it straight out, it would just suck everything out.
yeah.
Ugh.
But I like it is something that I'm like, that seems like a good idea, like environmentally friendly.
Yeah.
Would you like push in a corner, like a side, because it's silicone,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, you'd have to like squish it a little bit to like take like,
Lady bodies are weird.
yeah.
Yeah, they are.
The year was 1985 when Courtney Cox said that for the first time.
There you
85.
go. Period. Yeah. You can say period.
Before any of you guys.
Yeah. Before we were born, Jen.
Not me. I was 4 because I'm old.
You saw that commercial.
Yeah, I remember it distinctly.
And now we have songs about period sex. So look how far we've come,
Period
people.
sex, period sex. Put down a towel. Okay.
I don't know the song.
It's from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Oh, I do know this song.
Another great show. If you haven't watched that, go back and watch that.
Yes.
Maybe
I'm going through it right now.
maybe that'll be when we finish Blossom. Maybe we'll do that. Who knows?
Heck yeah.
Okay, so Blossom gets her one box of tampons and she goes up to the cashier and it's a classmate and she does another super cool move where she just casually slides the box across the counter and like off the counter.
Not just a classmate.
Giovanni Ribisi.
It's baby Giovanni Ribisi, who sounds exactly the same now as he did when he was going through puberty.
I don't know who this is.
Oh, he was in a lot of things. He was in
He's a great character actor.
he was in Avatar. He was
He's Phoebe's brother in Friends.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you went to the more popular thing.
the brother that she has a baby for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's done,
blown.
hundreds of TV spots and movies.
Movies.
That's so cool. That is awesome.
Yeah.
He was in Saving Private Ryan.
Yes,
Yeah.
he was.
Okay, so she has this super cool cashier, and she's immediately super embarrassed that she has to buy tampons. She does the thing where she asks for a million unrelated things, and then he asks her if the tampons are hers, and he pulls them up, and it's a giant tampon box.
I loved that.
Highlighting her embarrassment that it just seems like this giant thing.
I feel like this is everyone's first tampon purchase and first condom purchase.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, I have all these things, and there's condoms over here too.
I don't really remember my first time buying pads and tampons myself, but I do remember like for a while always like it's pretty rare these days to have a male cashier, but I would always make sure that the cashier was like a girl. I remember when I was younger.
I did that, yeah.
Yeah, and then for a while I was doing self-checkout, so it didn't matter.
Self-checkout is a godsend.
Yeah. Yeah, so she runs off. Immediately, the pace of this show seems a lot faster than the pilot episode.
Yeah.
Like we're just chugging right along. So we're in Blossom's room. She's talking to Six about how she's gotten her period. She has this great line where she's like talking about it as though she's on a game show and she's won a prize of her first period. What is she going to do? And she says, "I'm going to Disneyland to punch out Snow White." Love it. Then she talks about how her mom has left to go pursue her dream of being a singer and she's in Paris. So she doesn't have anyone to talk to about it.
I think you missed a really important part.
Okay, what did I miss?
When Six was talking about all the things she can do now, like go horseback riding.
Yeah, all the things that you can do. Yeah, now that you have your period that you couldn't do
That's my favorite
before.
line in the whole episode.
But still to this day, that's how they advertise tampons. You can literally buy sport tampons. Like that is how they
Are they different?
Probably not.
Okay, I never understood it. Okay.
I mean, if they are like, there's no discernible difference in my opinion.
No.
Yeah, so she can do all these things now that she's had her period. She talks about how she's sad that she can't talk to her mom about it, and that's who's supposed to be helping her through this. Six tells her to choose the brand that has the best prize inside.
Yep. I wish.
Which is great. And then she also gives, I think, the best description of what it's like to be a woman, which is you get your period every month for the next 30 to 40 years, and then you go through menopause and start talking like Darth Vader.
I love 6.
Yeah. 6 is great. So then, so they have that conversation. And then we see Joey and Anthony making a movie for Joey for school. I have to point out, so there's this thing in film and TV called Greeking. And it's when they take a product and they can't show the like full name of it because they didn't pay for the rights. So they'll cover up some letters or they'll like draw on it so it looks different. So there is a box of cereal beside Anthony on the table, and it has been Greeked out so that it is no longer grape nuts, but ape nuts. Yep.
Quality.
Yeah, quality content right there.
No one will ever know.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So they explain that Blossom walks in, is rightfully frightened by Anthony lying on the table with a knife sticking out of him and a giant spider. Joey and Anthony explain that they're doing a project for Joey's school about violence in America. They didn't say whether they should be pro or against violence in America, so they're just doing a real violent movie.
Yeah.
And Anthony explains that he's helping because they let him play with the security camera at the rehab center.
So this was so interesting watching that because first of all, I don't know, the acting seemed way more campy than it did in the last episode we watched. It was a lot more sitcom-y. Yep. I suppose there's a lot of, I'm saying a funny thing, I'm going to pause for the laugh track. There was a lot more of that.
Yep.
But also they just gloss over the rehab. Yeah.
So it's interesting because they do have like these lighter episodes like this one. And then there are a lot more where it is pretty heavy, the whole like sobriety rehab thing. So I think they're really trying to find a balance between it. I think they're trying to get away from what the pilot was. They wanted to prove that concept didn't work and that this is what they need to do. So they're really upping the comedic. Yeah.
I don't know. Like if I hadn't watched the episode 0, the first pilot first, and I had watched this, I almost would have had to like go back and be like, wait, did he just say he was in rehab?
Yeah. Yeah. They really,
is nobody going to talk about this? Okay.
But it also makes more sense because he was there for pot again.
Yeah.
Like he's just there like he's the same person he was afterwards.
The devil's weed.
Yeah. So yeah, I do think that like, as we're discussing, they're making it clear that they are going to tackle tough subjects like puberty and rehab, but they're trying to be a lot lighter than like, we're talking about addiction.
Yeah.
It's so heavy. They're trying to like bring the tone up a bit. So Blossom is in a really bad mood and just wants to eat ice cream, which I think they're hinting at that it's supposed to like read as PMS symptoms.
Yeah.
But we know it's because her mom isn't there, that she has no one. She doesn't feel like she can talk about this with anyone and she's feeling really alone. Also, there's a severed foot on the ice cream.
Yeah.
So then it's the middle of the night. Blossom comes downstairs and she finds her dad in the kitchen. He's just got home from a recording session. He's a cool musician. He has a lot more chemistry with his children, feels immediately like this is actually Blossom's dad, unlike imposter parents from last episode.
Yeah, they feel like they like each other, right? That's weird.
And I feel like a lot of the lines are similar to what Imposter Dad said, but Ted Wass has the charisma to be like, I'm kidding around with my kids. And like, this is how we like communicate and how we like. Yeah.
I will say as a kid growing up in the 90s with a dad who is also a musician, who had the exact same haircut.
Well, you're like, this is my family.
And like the lighter, kind of jokey demeanor. Yeah. I was instantly like, this feels more like what I grew up with. No more mustache daddy. Now we have mullet daddy, and I am here for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Nick he's a great dad. He's a fantastic dad.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell that he doesn't want his kids to be growing up really fast and that he doesn't necessarily want to be having tough conversations, but he is there for them and will have those conversations and is open to it. Yeah. He knows right away that Blossom didn't wake up. She had been waiting up to talk to him. So he tries to figure out what's wrong with her, and she comes so close to telling him what's up and then chickens out, says everything fine, and then runs away.
Also, I love that he's like, oh, we'll just eat some raw cookie dough.
Yeah.
It's totally fine. And there are no health problems whatsoever because it was the 90s.
Yeah. No, and her like Blossom saying, shouldn't we bake them? And him saying, no, it ruins them. I'm like, yes, it's so true.
We don't know about salmonella yet.
Yeah.
This is totally fine.
Yeah. So Blossom chickens out, she runs away, and then we have our first ever Blossom dream sequence. So she comes downstairs and finds her mom in the kitchen, and it is Felicia Rashad, the mom from The Cosby Show, and Blossom's perfect mother.
Queen.
And it is fantastic.
She's everyone's perfect mother.
I audibly screamed. I was like, oh my God.
This show, especially in the first season, this show got some fantastic guest stars. And this is a great way to start it off. Like The Cosby Show was huge. Like everybody loved The Cosby Show. And to have like Felicia Rashad be the perfect mom, like people already thought she was a perfect mom, but also the fact that they in 1991 had a Black woman as the perfect mom. Yeah. Groundbreaking.
Well, I did a little deep dive because I was really curious about this. I wanted to know the timelines of The Cosby Show and yada, yada. So what I actually found about this is that The Cosby Show was one of the first, at least sitcom-based shows to talk about periods. And it was Claire Huxtable sitting down with Rudy and basically having almost this exact conversation, but in less of a Stepford wife, mom type of way. But it was almost like the exact same scene. And that episode aired about 3 months before this one.
That's crazy.
So what I originally thought was just like a fun, it's The Cosby Show. Claire Huxtable is everybody's mom and it's adorable. The more I looked into it, it was actually an exact reference to that thing that had happened just a few months before, which made it even better.
That's so cool.
And the way, apparently I was looking up kind of the scripting from The Cosby Show, and the way that they were discussing it is Claire going, well, in my day, we used to call it like the curse and the horror. And meanwhile, here in Blossom, she's like, I'm going to make icing ovaries and I'm just going to have a very lovely, frank conversation about what happens to your body.
So yeah, the like teaching how a period, like what it is and how your body works on a cake with icing, like crystal clear about what is going on. You don't need to go into too much detail, but like crystal clear about what is going on with her body. I feel like that's more comprehensive sex ed than a lot of kids get.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, when I was growing up, we didn't talk about this stuff. I learned everything. I'm going to put air quotes about that in all the, like, my public health stuff. I went to Catholic school, so I didn't learn much about any puberty or stuff.
I feel like by the time I got my period, I knew that it was going to be every month. But there was a time, maybe like not even a year before, where I thought it was you get it once and that's that. Like,
oh God, if only.
This scene is amazing. I think it's also representative of what Blossom thinks that a mom should be and what she is missing out on, what everybody else has. You know, she comes downstairs, her mom is just like, looks at her and says, you got your period. I'm your mom. I know. And that's, she has this idealistic idea of what a mom is. And like, yeah, maybe if you're acting weird, your mom would be like, did you get your period? But like nobody's mom would just be able to look at them and say something's different.
And being like, I'm going to make you some soup and get a heating pad and I'm going to answer everything you want to know. Yeah. Like just, gave me little warm fuzzies.
Yeah.
I love her. That was just such a perfect scene.
Great scene. Yeah. So then Blossom wakes up from her dream and decides that she's going to call her mom because maybe her mom can do this over the phone. You know, we don't know. So it's a very quick scene, but very cute scene. So she calls France and tries to speak French to the guy at the hotel. And I love bonjour Hotel Bonaparte, comment allez-vous? And then they just spit off. I love this. Please slow down. I'm only in French 1.
And also like dialing an operator is not something, again, kids.
Yeah.
So back in our day.
Dialing a phone.
Yeah.
Dialing a phone, first of all. And I don't know if you guys caught this. I laughed when the cord wasn't connected to the phone.
What? I'm going to have to go back.
She picks it up and the cord is very clearly just like flapping in the wind.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
I'm going to have to go back and watch that.
Yeah, go back and watch it. I had to rewatch it. It was so funny.
That is pretty funny.
So we had to dial 0 and
you had to hear a dial tone. You had to pick up the phone.
Oh yeah, dial tones.
Check that there was a dial tone. Because maybe someone else is on the phone, or maybe you had that 1 in a million that I had a couple times where you picked up the phone just as someone had called you.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
So they were already there on the other end. So you had to listen for the dial tone and then dial the number.
Mm-hmm. And if you didn't know the number, you could dial just 0 and it would take you to a general operator and you could just say, I want this person or I want to talk to this hotel and they would direct you.
Yeah. So Blossom tries to call her mom at the hotel. Her mom isn't there. Even when she gets up in the middle of the night to try and contact her mom in Paris, her mom still isn't around. So she leaves a message that she misses her. And this is just supposed to be like a big contrast to the dream of what she thinks she's missing out on and what she has, which is nothing. Like she doesn't have a relationship with her mom.
I want to get your guys' opinion. So immediately after she does this, she walks into the kitchen. Do you think she was like, air quotes, looking for Claire mom, or was she looking for her dad?
I think she was looking for her mom. I think she was hoping that like maybe she flew back and she's in here. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I had like a split second of maybe she's hoping her dad is still in the kitchen and she can finally talk to him.
Yeah. I think at this point in the episode, she hasn't fully come to terms that like her dad is the one that's there for her, not her mom. And she needs to. So then we have a scene with Nick talking to Anthony and Joey. He's concerned about Blossom. Have they noticed anything? Which I think is great because it's showing that he like is actively concerned about what's going on with his daughter. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite parts in this scene is when Nick asks Anthony if he thinks that Blossom might be on drugs. And Anthony says, I know everything there is to know about drugs. If anyone in this house was on drugs, I would know it. And then he just leans across and looks in Joey's eyes and then just sits back. Like it's a side, like no words, just we all know exactly what's going on. And Joey is just confused. He has no idea what's just happened.
The only thing is, and I know this was like a play for comedy and I know it's maybe a little realistic, but of all the things that could be wrong with your 13, 14-year-old daughter, and maybe Eric, help me out because you're dad, would your first thing be like drugs? Definitely not her period for my 13-year-old daughter. Like he goes through a list of so many things that could be wrong as opposed to, I don't know.
Having his eldest go through drugs already, there's always that underlying thing under your head that you're like, I hope it's not that again. I
think also like he has the two oldest are boys. Like a period is never something he ever thought he would have to deal with because he had a wife who was going to deal with it. Mm-hmm. He raised two boys. That wasn't a thing that he had to think about. And also at the time, like it wasn't a thing that you talked about with your dad.
Yeah. Hopefully it still isn't a thing I have to talk about.
No, I understand that. I don't know. Like, I understand the logic of it, but at the same time, I was like, oh, it's a sitcom. Men are dumb about periods.
I don't know. Like, even sometimes, like, if, like, oh my God, there's so many things that run through my head if, like, she's playing in the backyard and then she doesn't respond. So I'm like, oh my God, maybe she got kidnapped. Oh no, maybe she ran away. And like, oh no, she's hiding behind the shed, obviously. Yeah. But like, it's like all the worst things go first before you get to the stupid things. Yeah.
All right. That's me I'm just being cynical then.
No, but I do think like, yeah, I totally agree that like the worst case scenario runs through your head. I do think it also is like it's not something that he thinks that he would have to deal with because someone else would, it's girl stuff. He does the guy stuff. It's girl stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then we end the scene with Anthony and Joey getting back to their movie. Another great line where Joey asks Anthony if he can fall down the stairs and land on his head. And Anthony says, yes, but I can only do it once.
Just the once. That was good.
Yeah. So then we move to Blossom, I guess, has a job where she helps out this senior citizen. I don't think she ever comes up again. Maybe
I have so many questions about
I feel
woman.
Like they were trying something out with trying to have like an older female influence.
When I was this age, in Catholic school, we did a lot of community service. So this felt totally normal to me.
Okay.
Because I used to do this too.
I think it's not like a weird thing to be done. I just think it didn't work. Like they were just trying to find some way to have like an older female character that could help Blossom. And it gets dropped very quickly. I don't think she shows up again, maybe once or twice, but this is about it.
And they never say who she is.
Yeah, she's
They're
just
not like
she's just Mrs. Swanson. I don't know.
It's just some rando crazy lady who talks about periods.
At first, I thought it was her grandmother, right?
Yeah.
Same.
So Mrs. Swanson, she tells Mrs. Swanson that she got her period. She has a euphemism for it that I've never heard, which is fell off the roof. I've never heard that. So Mrs. Swanson gives her the advice of talk to your dad about it. Like, that's what your parents are there for. I know, like, it sucks that you don't have a mom. It's not fair, but life's not fair. We deal with what we've got.
Oh, hold on.
Okay.
So, fell off the roof,
Okay.
phrase meaning and origin. 1960s plus, to be sexually incapacitated, or to be menstruating, or to be, what, I don't know why this says US gay, to be in a nervous, irritable state.
PMS.
Yeah, okay, so that,
Yeah.
there you go.
So Blossom decides that she's finally going to talk to her dad. So she goes home and she does this runaround of, do you remember when I was born and what the doctor said? He said that it was a girl. Well, now I'm a woman. And Nick has this great moment where all he says is "oh" over and over, but you can see the wheels turning of what's going on and the realization. So great.
Yeah.
So great. One thing I noticed during this scene is Blossom is wearing white pants while she has her first period.
Also, she's wearing a shirt with mushrooms on it right after her dad thinks she's on drugs.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, like, what was going through. Like, I love the clothes in this series. Like, Blossom has such a unique sense of style, but I don't know what was going through the costumers' head when they were like, okay, it's an episode about her first period. Let's put her in white pants.
Maybe because she doesn't know yet.
Maybe.
You learn that lesson real quick.
That's possible. So Nick, instead of being like scared of it, he's like, this is wonderful. Like, you're growing up. I'm sad that you're growing up so quickly. Where was I? But like, this is a great thing. And then he does the worst thing ever, which is he gets so excited about it that he calls in Anthony and Joey and announces to them that Blossom got her first period, and Blossom is mortified.
This is part of my men are stupid about women.
Yeah.
I was so mad.
Yeah. So, Eric, some advice: when your daughter gets her first period, do not call their sibling into the room and announce it.
No.
Although, like, at least it would be a sister.
Yeah, that's true. It's still weird, though. It's still really weird.
It's super weird.
So before we get to the wrap up, Jen, I want to know, if you're cool talking about it, like, what was it like when you got your first period? Did you talk to your mom? Did you guys do anything special? Like
Ice cream, cookie dough?
I didn't get a cake with icing ovaries on it, which now I'm a little upset about.
Maybe I'll do that.
But you have to do it, not your wife.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
have to do it.
Yeah.
No, I'm fine with talking about it. I mean, it wasn't anything like this. I did get it when I was over at my friend's house.
Oh.
Which sucked. Luckily, like, she was in the neighborhood. It wasn't like an overnight or anything mortifying like that. But I got it at my friend's house, and I don't know, like, I found a reason to leave, and I kind of talked to my mom, and then we had the pad versus tampon conversation. And it was exactly like you were saying. She's like, okay, do pads for a while and then we'll figure it out. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people have these really intense, scarring experiences with it. But my parents were always pretty good about, like, sat me down with the Grey's Anatomy and, like, which was a real book, in case anybody didn't actually know that. You never know. So they were pretty good about, like, teaching me that stuff ahead of time. So it was more of a, this sucks than anything. It mostly just sucks because I got it on the younger end of when you.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I was 11.
Oh
No, that's too soon.
Unfortunate. Yeah.
Oh.
So I got mine when I was 12, and I was like among the last of my friends to get my period. I got it like end of grade 8, like
at 12.
Yeah,
eh?
like I'd like
Wow.
not 12. Sorry, turn 13, turning 14. I got it grade 8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I got it. I was among the later And I was really excited. I got it at home. Well, because everyone had been getting theirs, and I was like, oh, where's mine? And so finally, like, yay! Like, and I told my mom, yeah, I used pads for a while, but I told my mom, I remember that she told my dad, he didn't say anything to me, but I remember like kind of overhearing her tell my dad and being a little bit embarrassed about it. And I think we did go out for dinner or something, but like we didn't tell my brother like that we were celebrating that I'm a woman, like whatever. But
it's a
like,
weird thing to celebrate,
yeah,
isn't it?
It is.
I feel like we did something. And the one thing that I do remember very clearly is my bubby. For those of you who don't know, bubby is Yiddish for grandmother. She got me a ring. I had this little silver ring with 3 blue flowers on it, and I wore it every day for a really long time until I think when I was in grade 12, the ring literally snapped in half.
Oh.
So because I'd worn it so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had this ring that was like, you're a woman.
That's very cute.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, my first experience.
But you have a sister, right? So did you ever...
He has 2.
Yeah, so did you ever like clue into what was going on?
Never.
Okay.
So let me tell you about
I just
teenage
watched a
me.
show where someone announced it. So, you know, I gotta ask.
I did not know anything that was going on in my teenage years, apparently, because I'm so stupid. There's this one time that my whole family got fingerprinted. Like, we went up to Toronto, got fingerprints, got all these pictures taken. I was like, oh, that's weird. And then we never talked about it again. Or at least I don't recall talking about this. And then many years later, I'm talking about like maybe 7 years ago, I'm in my 30s. They're like, yeah, remember that time we were going to all move to the States? I was like, what? What are you talking about? They're like, that's why we were getting fingerprinted and why we got all our passports and everything, all our papers done, so that in case we need to move to the States. It's like, oh, okay. Like, how did you not know about this? Like, this is my sister taught me this. I was like, oh.
Wow. So you really would have had any idea.
No idea, apparently.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I broke Mallory's brain.
What if you had like moved into your new house in the States and been like, what's going on?
I'm sure I would have noticed when we started packing. Probably.
You would have noticed on the plane.
All the boxes came and are like, huh, this is different.
All right. So our next scene is Blossom is getting ready to go out for Chinese to celebrate getting her period. And Nick comes in. She's having trouble getting her hair to work, and he offers to braid it for her. And they have this really sweet father-daughter moment where he basically says, like, this, like, I didn't think that I would have to deal with this. I married someone who I thought would be a good mom for you, and that didn't happen. But we're going to get through this together, and, you know, we're all here for you, and we love you. And I just thought it was really cute.
Yeah. Also, her outfit is heckin' cute.
Yeah, the little white shirt and the black skirt. Yeah, super cute.
Like, get out of here.
So then they go downstairs. They're getting ready to go outside. Anthony is there with the dumb questions, asking about PMS.
So creepy.
Blossom hits him with a super great retort where she immediately is annoyed and then laughs and saying that, like, no, she's fine. I did think it was sweet that he said that he wants to understand what's going on so that he can, like, maintain a good relationship.
Like, the intent is sweet.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. Like, they're treating her like she just Super Saiyaned into a different form and she's literally not the same person anymore. Like, can I still talk to you?
Yeah.
Is that allowed?
Yeah. Well, so Joey lists off like a bunch of things that he can't do anymore, which is hit her in the head. He has to knock when he comes into her room, and he has to say, excuse me, after he burps. Yes, you should be doing all those things regardless if your sister has her period or not. Those are just human decency things.
It has, like, literally nothing to do with her anyways.
Yeah. And then they all head out for Chinese food, and that is the end of Blossom Blossoms.
Yep.
So, outfit of the week. So, I will go first this time. I chose Six's pink sweater with her black mini skirt, and she has a matching scrunchie.
Yep.
Super adorable. I want to wear that now, and I'm 32, so just gonna leave that
I think
there.
you could pull that off. Those sweaters are back in now.
Agreed.
Eric.
Yeah, so mine is Claire Huxtable's white shirt and pink apron.
Yep.
Which was just so amazingly 80s,
so
if not
frilly.
60s. Yeah.
Oh, man.
It was so lovely. it was the perfect like mother.
It was an 80s take on the 60s.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Mine was our introduction to Joey. He is wearing the chonkiest yellow t-shirt, like just 4 sizes too big for him, but it's strapped in by these red suspenders, and just the magical 90s billowing effect of a shirt that's too big tucked into something that is way too small for your body. And you know, I noticed that in the episode before this, there's just like huge shirts in tiny pants.
Yep.
And I love it.
That's not the best part of his outfit, though. The best part is he's wearing a fanny pack, a bright red one.
Oh, heck yeah.
That matches his suspenders.
Oh, yeah.
So,
No, also red. It was great. It was the kind of thing you would see later in like Fresh Prince. It was that sort of a look.
a gray undershirt and nice jeans. Yeah. Oh, great. I love it.
Love a good suspender moment.
Nice. Yeah, so my cat is wanting attention. If you hear meowing, she's just sitting beside me, wants me to look at her. Okay, so moving on to lesson of the week. So what I got this was you have more support than you think. Blossom, most of the episode, she thinks that she's missing out on something because her mom isn't there. And yes, like she doesn't have her mom there, but she has her dad and her brothers who care so much about her. And she does have that support at home. She doesn't need to be looking outside for it.
Yeah.
Jen?
I never write these down. I have thoughts.
Yeah, I have the same thing.
I think mine would be along the lines of, if you don't know something, ask, which again, obviously I had issues with some of the ways that was being scripted in the episode. And I know a lot of it was for laughs, and I get that. But at the end of the day, like, the guys didn't know. And although they were dumb idiots about it, at least they asked the questions instead of, you know, just saying, okay, go over there into your period tent like the olden days. And, you know, like they went out of their way to figure it out, which respect.
Yeah, for sure. I will learn from them. I guess my lesson of the day would be to not expect your family to be that perfect TV family. Like she had that Claire Huxtable moment, and she was hoping her mom would be that, but she has her family, and her family is there for her either way. Yep. Even though they're dumb boys, they're they're there for her. Yeah. So don't expect the perfect. Just be happy with the family you have.
Great. So now our score. So I gave this episode, I had a hard time. I settled on a 4 out of 5, mostly because I don't want to give every episode 5 out of 5. I love Blossom. I love this series. But yeah, so I gave it a 4 out of 5. I thought it was a really good jumping off point for the series. Yeah, I think they breezed a little bit too quickly past the rehab, especially with this being the first official episode. But other than that, great episode.
Eric?
Me? Okay. I thought it was a 5 out of 5. I think it was a really good pilot. You got everyone's personalities. Like, they're pretty much this moving forward. You know, things happen, whatever. I like the new dad. Not the new dad. The actual dad. Let me rephrase.
The real dad,
and, you know, having Claire Huxtable show up was just like, how would you... Like, that's a great way to start a first season for anything.
Yeah.
5.
I'm going to do a 4. Only because I can see the little seeds of what these characters are going to be, but I don't see it yet. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I just hope they don't fall on the stock responses too much, which I don't think they will.
It wasn't stock back then.
I know, and that's what I keep reminding myself, right? So I'm going to say 4 out of 5.
Great.
That's fair.
Awesome. So that was Blossom Blossoms. Next week, we are doing season 1, episode 2, My Sister's Keeper. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
I don't know why I was waving.
Thanks for listening to In My Opinionation.
Don't forget to rate and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or wherever else you get your podcasts.
You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at IamOpinionation, our website at IamOpinionation.com, or email us at opinionationpod@gmail.com.
We'd love to hear your opinionation about this or any future episodes.
New episodes come out every Tuesday.
Thanks again for listening, and until next week,
the sun is gonna surely shine.